Many opposition leaders have rallied behind the Congress MP, calling the defamation case another bid to muzzle dissent. Now, as per the law, if the verdict is not cancelled by any higher court, Rahul Gandhi may face disqualification as an MP and won't be allowed to contest elections for the next 8 years. Remember, the 2024 fight is around the corner. Congress workers have also hit the streets across the nation, accusing the central government of vendetta and a bid to intimidate the opposition by attacking free speech. But the BJP has rained fire on the Congress Neta, saying the rule of law has prevailed and Rahul Gandhi is paying the price for his irresponsible statements. As disqualification looms over Rahul Gandhi, what is the political impact on the road to 2024?
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
There is going to be a very animated discussion with regard to the larger implications of this order on free speech.
इस भय से अगर वो सोचते हैं कि किसी रूप से जनहित के मुद्दों को उठाने में कांग्रेस हिचकेगी या राहुल गांधी हिचकेंगे, तो ये गलत धारणा है.
राहुल जी को इस सच्चाई को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि शब्दों की चोट शस्त्रों की चोट से ज्यादा गहरी और पीड़ादायी होती है.
He should come out of this dynastic mindset and realize that no individual is bigger than the country.
First, Pallavi Ghosh is joining us live. So, Pallavi, what exactly is the thinking going on within the Congress camp?
Well, I mean, frankly speaking, when the news first came out, Marya, there was a sense of shock within the Congress party and also apprehension, because certainly they wouldn't want a situation where Rahul Gandhi cannot get to contest from Wayanad or any election for that matter, and he loses his MP-ship. But I think, like most politicians do, they realize that this is something they would want to use to their advantage, build up the sympathy card, and also make the point that unlike most of the opposition party leaders who have compromised, to use the words of the Congress party is the only one which actually keeps on asking these questions of the BJP, and therefore they also have to face this kind of an action. So I think the Congress's strategy and the electoral slogan for 2024 seems to have been firmed up, and that electoral slogan is very simple: vote for Congress, vote for truth, and vote for real freedom. So you will watch this over the next couple of days. We saw that already today. Congress out on the streets protesting about it, and a show of strength for Rahul Gandhi.
Pallavi, before I let you go, I want to understand from you, which are the parties standing with the Congress on this issue?
Well, at the airport, you certainly saw Congress. You also saw DMK, which I would say is very, very interesting. But also outside, when the news just broke, interestingly, one of the first political parties which came out in support was the Aam Aadmi Party, condemning this kind of a decision which has been taken, and also asking the question that why is it that Rahul Gandhi has been convicted for something which he said during an election rally. But I think the countdown begins from here. Whether that big opportunity for real opposition unity, unlikely partners coming together, will actually begin with this conviction of Rahul Gandhi.
All right, Pallavi Ghosh, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. What does this mean for Indian politics, and what are the options before Rahul Gandhi? Let me take these two questions to the panelists who are joining me now. Vikas Singh, President of Supreme Court Bar Association, Aprajita Sarangi, Member of Parliament of the BJP. We also have Ashpreet Kadial, Congress spokesperson, Hitesh Jain, lawyer, and Kirit Panwala, Rahul Gandhi's lawyer, will be joining us, and R. Rajagopalan. But before everybody, a question to Vikas Singh. What are the legal options before Rahul Gandhi? Vikas Singh.
So Rahul definitely will have to file an appeal, and he will have to get a suspension of the sentence, because without the suspension of the sentence, he'll have to be taken into custody. And as far as the disqualification is concerned, if you ask me, the section has, to be honest, not come up for interpretation directly in Supreme Court on whether it will be 2 years and above or it will be above 2 years. But in my view, I mean, this is my very personal view, that the way the section is worded, if 2 years sentence will not incur disqualification. Only a sentence of more than 2 years will incur a disqualification. So if he does not incur a disqualification, then obviously he doesn't need the conviction to be stayed, because if he incurs a disqualification, then he will require not only suspension of sentence, but he will also require a order staying the conviction itself. Now, that is something which is very rare in criminal jurisprudence, and that is only granted in very, very deserving cases in matters where such disqualification issue comes up. So, if
Vikas Singh, has it ever happened that a defamation suit has led to disqualification? I mean, conviction in a defamation suit.
Well, to be honest, conviction in a defamation suit probably has not happened and the conviction, wherever if it has happened also, it is 6 months or 1 year. So a 2-year sentence, I think, is unprecedented. This has happened for the first time. This is the maximum sentence that can be awarded for defamation. And unfortunately, a 2-year sentence, in one case, I believe there was a case which was exactly 2-year sentence, and it was held to be a disqualification. But that disqualification was implemented without anybody questioning whether the section 8(3) means above 2 years or 2 years and above. So that according to me, is a interpretation still open for consideration, and Rahul Gandhi can take it to its logical end and say that this disqualification does not happen for a simpliciter 2-year sentence. It can only happen if it is a sentence of more than 2 years.
Last question to you, Vikas Singh. What are the legal grounds on which Rahul Gandhi can defend himself?
So legal ground, of course, will be his right to free speech, because ultimately in a country like ours, where fundamental right guarantees you free speech, whatever you may say, whether it is defamation or not, will have the criminal intent or the intent in that defamation will have to be seen. So I think it's a good legal case to argue whether this kind of a statement can be said to be defamation or not. And normally courts rely on free speech more rather than curbing free speech by putting a sentence of defamation. And if that larger perspective is to be seen, then according to me, he has a good case in appeal, and this order can be set aside.
All right, Vikas Singh, thank you so much. Let me bring in my panelists and go straight to Ashpreet Kardial. Ashpreet, this is a court ruling. Can you still claim vendetta?
Vendetta is definitely there. However, in a different context. You see, the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders have been uttering words like Dayan, Saddam, Pappu, and रेनकोट पहन के कैसे नहाना चाहिए मनमोहन सिंह साहब को बड़े अच्छे से आता है, and many more things which I cannot even speak here on the debate because the magnitude of those words is such. So has any Bharatiya Janata Party's leader been booked for that? Has there been any complaint filed? Has there been any FIR? Has there been any defamation suit? Has anyone been convicted for that?
Defamation suit has to be filed by you. If you think that any defamatory statement has been made by the BJP leaders, has the Congress done that?
See, there is a difference between how the Bharatiya Janata Party functions and how we function. We would not make an issue out of such things because we know that development, work, employment, Medicare, education, these kind of things matter. We won't want to waste our time with such things, but the Bharatiya Janata Party clearly wanted to divert the attention from the Adani issue because they know it for a fact that Mr. Gandhi has been asking a lot of questions, been demanding an Adani probe. They haven't been able to answer any questions. Therefore, they do political vendetta. Number two, they ask, the Congress party that you should give up your membership or he'll be suspended, etc. I can show you videos and audios of the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders uttering such words. Would they give up their own membership? Would they suspend their leaders from party membership and their MLA-ship or MP-ship for having uttered those words? Number two, is law is action only meant for the opposition parties.
Okay.
Bharatiya Janata Party
So
can
you
say
are
anything.
essentially, no. The question is that this is a court order. Should it be seen as process of law? But you are saying that this is vendetta. I'm trying to understand now from the BJP before I bring in Hitesh Jain. Hitesh, BJP first. Aprajita, will the BJP now move in for immediate disqualification? And is the BJP going to move the Speaker's office? And will it happen in the next 24 hours?
See, we look at the Constitution of India and the functioning of the courts with highest respect. And I think Constitution of India and the law of the land are supreme. And we would definitely examine the legality of the whole matter, so just wait and watch. This is one part. But I can definitely say that reckless, puerile, immature, irresponsible, these are the words that come to our mind when we think of Rahul Gandhi and his statements. And at this juncture, to say that there is vendetta is absolutely ridiculous, I would say. See, this particular case emerged out of his reckless behavior in 2019 when he said all Modis are thieves. Now, 4 years have passed and this Surat court has actually given the judgment today. Now, the issue is this is a considered decision. All the facts of the matter have been taken into consideration, into account, and then this judgment has been pronounced. And I can say with all conviction at my command that Rahul Gandhi and his advocate have been given enough time to put forth all his defense. So I think to say that it is vendetta is not right. We have to respect the law of the land and law will take its course. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
I think the legality of the matter, the disqualification part and other things are being examined.
Okay. Before I go back to Ashpreet, I will bring in the other two panelists as well. And Hitesh, here speaking to you as a lawyer, I want to understand from you, as Vikas Singh was saying, that never before has it happened that a defamation order has been pronounced with a 2-year conviction. And so it's a rare case, certainly. More so, I want to understand what next for Rahul Gandhi, because he certainly stands at a risk of being disqualified from Parliament following his conviction. What happens in a criminal defamation case of this nature?
Marya, when Vikas Singh says that never before such precedent has happened, but never before a leader of a stature of Rahul Gandhi, who was projected as the candidate for the Prime Minister, has made such kind of a statement. The statement made by Rahul Gandhi is neither irresponsible, neither careless, but it is a statement that was made blinded with the hate, and it was a deliberate false statement made with the intention to harm the reputation of the person. So if you look at purely defamation as a law, Rahul Gandhi was a member of Parliament then. He is responsible enough to understand the consequences of the law. And therefore, he should have been. He should have been more responsible in making such kind of a statement.
No, but
if he wants to make a deliberate false statement,
again, the point
then
here is most experts of law, and you are a lawyer yourself, are of the opinion that a 2-year sentence in criminal defamation case under Section 499 of the Indian Penal Code, under which Mr. Gandhi has been convicted, is extremely rare.
Now, I will answer the question straight away. Recently, Supreme Court was dealing with the case pertaining to hate speech, and particularly with the statements made by the politicians. And the Supreme Court, when it comes to the political leaders, said they owe a larger duty of care, they owe a larger responsibility, they owe a larger burden. So if you will look at the languages, if you will look at the directions given by the Supreme Court and the guidance given by the Supreme Court, I am not surprised that he has been convicted for 2 years, because a person who has been projected as a prime minister should have been very careful and should have understood the consequences of the statement. But he is a habitually, at that time, in terms, he had to seek an apology from the Supreme Court in the case of Rafale. And here also, he has made, and therefore I'm not qualifying the statement as irresponsible or careless, but these are purely statements made deliberately with the intention to harm the
whatever he
reputation
said in the context of Rafale, we saw what happened in the court judgment.
He had to apologize. So he could have apologized today also. He had to, if he would have apologized, maybe, his lawyers should have advised him. But then that is for his lawyers to advise. I mean, Pawan Khera's case, the lawyer was the first person, Dr. Singh, apologized before the Supreme Court. So the Congress party cannot claim, I mean, on one hand, you make a reckless statement, you make a false statement to defame a person, and then you are claiming that there has been an injustice that has been done to Rahul Gandhi.
You know, because it is about poor political discourse.
I beg your pardon, sorry.
Poor political discourse. I think the party leader has to be more responsible. And if there have been series of events in which he has apologized to the courts, then it is also about him not realizing that his statements are defamatory in nature.
Thank you. See, you asked me a question before also, Marya, in the first segment, when you said that why did the Congress party not file any defamation suits if such words were uttered against you? Well, you made a very valid point there. If some statement has been made against somebody which is demeaning, defaming, that person has the right to be the complainant and has the locus standi to be in the court. Now, did Mr. Purnesh Modi have the locus standi in the first place? Was it referring to Mr. Purnesh Modi ji even in the first place? Number two, you see, the matter is sub judice. However, we are taking the liberty to talk about this. So give me just a minute. I want to say something. One, the sentence has already been suspended. Let's not leave that point out. Number two, we shall be appealing this. There is the district court after this. Then there is the High Court. Then there is the Supreme Court. Then there is the curative petition. Then there is the review petition. Then there is the mercy petition. And then there is a review petition again to that. So it is not the final thing. It is not done and dusted with. There is a lot to happen after this.
Okay, so
Number two, last point. 95% of the cases that are registered in India by ED CBI are against opposition. The conviction rate of the ED is 0.5%, 0.05%, I beg your pardon. In our time, the total rates that ED had under UPA were 112. Under the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is 3,000 plus.
But so Ashpreet, this is not an order or any summon from the ED and CBI. It's an order of the court. My question is the Congress party then questioning the due process of law?
Did we? Have I? Please check all my statements. Nothing has been said against the court. It's only against the Bharatiya Janata Party. And as far as the ED and CBI example is concerned, I'm not just talking about this one case of Mr. Gandhi. I'm talking about the overall conduct of the Bharatiya Janata Party as to how they act against the opposition parties vis-a-vis political vendetta.
Okay.
And number two, to divert the attention from the real issues. For example, Mr. Adani's issue. For example, the probe that we have been demanding. For example,
Mr. Rajagopalan, you know, the fact is that the entire political class is responsible for lowering the standard of political discourse. It's not just one political party or one leader.
Marya, politics is about defaming the other person. Politics is about defaming the other political party, whether it is BJP or Congress. Congress did it during its UPA regime. Apart from that, Marya, you and me covered parliament for ages. And my understanding is there are two defamation cases. One is by the court, Surat Court. Another is by Mr. Nishikant Dubey before the Speaker of Lok Sabha. And before the Speaker of Lok Sabha, there is a privilege notice also. And privilege committee sees to the matter. Apart from that, my understanding is there is no Adani, there is no Modani, there is no Rahul Gandhi. It is all political. Another 1 year's time, there is going to be an election. And whether he is disqualified or not, it is going to be a political issue. It's not a legal issue. Congress leaders, Congress advocates who appeared for Mr. Rahul Gandhi in Surat Court, they took it very lightly and they thought that Rahul Gandhi can do it in London and Cambridge. He can get away with that.
Okay.
But
so you are essentially saying that this...
the poor.
So Ashpreet, did the Congress take this case lightly?
Well, it's not about taking it lightly or in some other way. It's just that, like I told you, the sentence has already been suspended. There are people who are leaving this very statement out in order to mislead the people of India. Well, if there was a decision in the favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party or Mr. Purnesh Modi, then there is a decision in our favor as well. It has already been suspended and we shall be appealing it. We shall try to go against it and have the verdict overturned. in the district court. This is an order of the magistrate. Number two, the Bharatiya Janata Party hasn't answered one question of mine. What about the statements which are demeaning given by your leaders? What action has been taken against them?
No, but the action has to be taken, initiated by you all to ensure that there is an action against them. But before that, no. I also want to understand from Mr. Rajagopalan. Mr. Rajagopalan, will it lead to opposition unity?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Unimaginable moves have been made by various opposition parties today. Post the order.
Maria, I don't think so. Rahul Gandhi is not taken seriously by Sharad Pawar. Today he is having the meeting as we speak. There is a meeting going on at Sharad Pawar's house. If he was serious, Rahul Gandhi should have attended. All the regional parties, especially DMK, KCR, JDU, Aam Aadmi Party, all
but Akhilesh Yadav supported him. That was unusual. The Aam Aadmi Party supported him. Unusual again.
Maria, they take Rahul Gandhi very lightly, and they say the Congress is an extra luggage for the regional parties. Therefore, I don't think it's going to be a opposition unity. Only for the parliament's sake they may do it. Once they come out of the parliament, they
but Mr. Rajagopalan, at the airport, DMK supporters were present as well. So, I mean, are we, discounting what it could lead to?
That is immaterial. Adani is also in connection in a lot of projects in Tamil Nadu. Therefore, DMK is not taking seriously Adani. The only Congress party is stalling the house, not TMC, not JDU. Even Ashok Gehlot is closely monitoring Adani projects in Rajasthan. Therefore, opposition unity cannot be done with Rahul Gandhi daily getting TRP.
Okay.
That is different. Even DMK is considering, JDU is considering, Aam Aadmi Party is considering to give single seat to Rahul Gandhi Congress. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Arshpreet.
Not in
before I bring in Arshpreet, Aprajita, one thing is clear that the BJP also wants 2024 to be a match between, because we are increasingly seeing a presidential form of election. So 2024, the BJP is best, as part of its strategy, it appears that it also wants it to be Rahul Gandhi versus Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So the question is, if Rahul Gandhi is disqualified, who will be your political opponent? वो सवाल उठेगा.
See, this statement, whatever you said now, is being made by many people that BJP is engineering this entire thing so that Rahul Gandhi is the opposition, one and the only opposition, and it's easy for Prime Minister Modi to win 2024. Now here let me be very clear, we don't have to do anything. Rahul Gandhi, if I can say, he is Bhasmasur, he is killing himself and he is killing the party by his actions. Please pardon me for using this particular word, but I think he is it. So I think Congress has to look within itself, Congress has to rectify the situation, and Congress has to tell its leader that he should behave in a certain manner. See, I am also a member of parliament, he is a member of parliament from Wayanad. We should know what we say and do in public and what we should not say and do in public. It's very important to know the do's and don'ts.
Okay.
Probably he doesn't know.
Okay,
how does this entire brigade of Congress justify his behavior in London or in Cambridge?
Okay, Arshpreet,
or his behavior
will it
in 2019?
hurt the Congress, given the fact that the biggest face of your party, someone who was on a long Bharat Jodo Yatra recently, is convicted? You can't say the same for the BJP top brass.
Well, Marya, like I've already told you, it's a 2-year conviction, which has already been, the sentence has already been suspended.
Okay.
So let's put it.
Okay, so if it has been suspended, so since you're reiterating this, let me ask that to that question to Hitesh. Hitesh, if the sentence has been suspended, then why this hue and cry?
Well, that is the answer the Congress spokesperson has to answer, because they are raising the hue and cry. They are indulging into protest and all. So if the sentence is suspended, they should quietly sit at home and don't indulge into any protest. They are aware that mere suspension of sentence is not enough. He has to get if he has to be saved from the disqualification, the conviction has to be stayed. But Marya, there is also one larger point. I mean, of course, the courts will decide on the question of disqualification as an MP. But by making such statements and by repeatedly making such statements, Rahul Gandhi has disqualified himself from the public life. In the eyes of public, he has incurred the disqualification by repeatedly making statements like this. He has to apologize in front of the Supreme Court. He has to clarify that what he meant in London, he said in London was something, he means something different. So, I mean, he's a habitual offender who makes a deliberate statement. His only defense is, I am an entitled dynast, nobody can touch.
Okay, Mr. Rajagopalan, 30 seconds to you, and then I'll give the final word to Ashpreet.
Today in the in the Surat court, the Congress advocate has already said it is unintentional. So therefore, come halfway to the apology. Therefore, now full apology is expected. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singh, who appeared for Rahul Gandhi in Supreme Court, he is also going to appear, he may with a draft with a letter of apology. So unless Mr. Rahul Gandhi apologizes to Surat court, things will not settle down. Even if they go to the High Court or Supreme Court or anywhere, review petition, curative petition, mercy petition, it's not going to take that much long, because
But
you
Mr.
are having 6 months away from
politically speaking, here are the Congress workers who are certainly charged. And many of them are of the opinion that Rahul Gandhi perhaps should go to jail, and that will send a message of how he has been fighting, and perhaps the only one fighting against the narrative that he is trying to set against the BJP, which is of curbing free speech.
Then what happened to Bharat Jodo Yatra? So it goes negative. Bharat Jodo Yatra is Aman, no Nafrat. Bharat Jodo Yatra was only for peacemaking. So you are now creating a space that you are also an agitator. You are also a revengeful politician. So this contradiction is there between Bharat Jodo Yatra and going to Surat court.
Ashpreet, you can't really complain about statements from the BJP if you're not seeking legal action. The common man in India or anywhere in the world has to go to court to seek recourse. Why can't the Congress?
Answering your question, Marya, you say that we should have sought recourse in court. Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders have been saying what? That Mr. Modi was defamed. But is the complainant Mr. Modi, Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India? He is not the complainant. The complainant is a Purnesh Modi, to whom this statement was not even referred to. Mr. Gandhi did not even know who he is or who he was. And therefore, he has been nevertheless, he has been the complainant. So, Marya, this logic of yours, would that not be implemented on the Bharatiya Janata Party? Would that only be implemented on the Congress Party? Number two, malicious intent, which is an integral part, of defamation. Where is that malicious intent for Mr. Purnesh Modi? And I do not understand how can the Bharatiya Janata Party go scot-free just because there's been no defamation suit filed does not mean there's been no other offence that has been committed. Many other offences under the IPC have been committed, and the police should have acted against those Bharatiya Janata Party leaders. And RPA has been amended by the BJP just in order to use that against the opposition parties, like the Bharatiya Janata Party always does. However, they will get a befitting reply for this in the courts as well as in 2024 elections, and the world will watch.
All right. A quick word from you, Aprajita. The point being made here by Ashpreet is that the complainant here is not the Prime Minister against whom the statement was made, but someone else.
Congress is in a self-destructive mode. Congress doesn't have the ability, or rather the inclination, to look within itself and correct itself. Now, as far as this complaint is concerned, I must tell you that Purnesh Modi was the then Minister of Gujarat State Government. We should not forget that. And Purnesh Modi also has the surname of Modi. He said, Rahul Gandhi said, it seems as though all Modis are thieves. What does it mean? What does it imply? Doesn't it hit Purnesh Modi? And why won't he go to the court? So I think he has actually chosen a particular surname and hit everybody who has that surname, as simple as that.
All right. Thank you so much
so
for your time.
So I think, see, this is the 7th case in which he has bail. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
One second.
There was no malicious intent towards Mr. Purnesh Modi. The main ingredient, malicious intent, was not there, is not there. Please read the definition of it.
Marya.
This is the 7th defamation case in which he has got bail, right? Right from December 2015, don't forget the National Herald case. He is on bail. And 6th July 2019, again, this particular case, Sushil Modi went to Patna court. Here also
So
he is on
being
bail.
on bail means
So
you are
Sushil
convicted.
Modi.
So does being on
Sushil
bail
Modi
mean you are a
also has the
convict?
All
surname
right,
of
I've really
Modi.
come to the end of this
Marya,
discussion.
1 second,
Vikas Singh,
Marya.
Aprajita Sarangi, Advocate Ashpreet Kadial, Rajagopalan and Hitesh Jain, really appreciate your time. Shifting focus to debate 2 now. Amidst the manhunt for Amrit Pal Singh in India, the threat of separatist mobs continues across the West, with Indian missions on the target list. After protests in London amidst heavy security, separatists hit the streets in the United States again, days after vandalism at the Indian consulate in San Francisco. Protesters gathered again today, raising separatist flags and chanting slogans. Unlike last time, this time the consulate was heavily guarded by the police and the roads were barricaded to prevent any untoward incident. On Wednesday, there was heavy police presence outside the Indian High Commission in London as separatists agitated once again after targeting the tricolour. Such demonstrations have become the norm in the West, even as top intelligence sources have told CNN News 18 how these radical cells are a part of the global ISI nexus of target India and peddle propaganda. Such agitations have also been seen on the streets of Canada and Australia, where these radicals have targeted Indian diplomatic staff, expats and even temples in their campaign against the nation. While one is on the run in India, we have only seen condemnation from Western leaders and no crackdown on a clear security threat that needs to be nipped in the bud. Why is there such a soft approach in the West is the question that I ask.
Send out a very strong message that this kind of secessionism would not do. Those countries have to improve security and make it punishable.
Some breaking news now coming in from Punjab. The Punjab police sources are telling CNN News 18 that Amrit Pal's associates in other states are being arrested as well. Punjab police has arrested a person from Delhi's Tilak Vihar. Punjab police arrested a suspect named Amit Singh, and according to sources, Amit Singh was in touch with Amrit Pal Singh. Anshul is getting us that piece of breaking news and is joining me from Jalandhar. Anshul, the question is that the Punjab police now is fairly sure that Amrit Pal Singh has crossed the border and has left Punjab. So where is he, or has he left India altogether?
So yes, Marya, that's the million-dollar question. Where is Amrit Pal Singh? But yes, definitely it has been proven today that Amrit Pal Singh has left from the borders of Punjab. We have got those CCTV visuals from Kurukshetra, where Amrit Pal Singh was actually residing for more than 2 days. It is being said that on the 19th of March, Amrit Pal Singh during the night reached Kurukshetra. He stayed there on 20th, and during the wee hours of 21st, he left from Kurukshetra and fled. And fled from the spot. Now the Punjab police is actually looking at his other associates, who could be in other parts of the country, whose help he is taking at this point in time. Because remember, the house that he stayed in belonged to Baljeet Kaur. Now Baljeet Kaur is a very close aide of Pampalpreet Singh, who is again running with Amrit Pal Singh at this point in time. So Amrit Pal Singh is taking help of his other supporters, the people who actually support his ideology, and is trying to flee from the grasp of police at this point in time. So the Punjab police has now expanded the operation. The people that they have arrested in the close associates whom they have arrested from out here in Punjab, they are being interrogated, and the names of other supporters are being taken down who are operating in other parts of the country, and those people are now being picked up by the Punjab police. So yes, the operation has been expanded, but yes, the positive news for today for the Punjab police has been that they have been able to map his route till the 21st of March, because remember, till yesterday the entire investigation or the entire mapping that the Punjab police had done, that was all of 18th of March, on the very day the entire incident of chasing happened, and of the 19th of March. Now finally they have reached the 21st of March, and they have pointed out a location where he was on 21st of March. Search operations are on at this point in time. In fact, the SSB has been alerted across the UP-Nepal border and the Bihar-Nepal border, and also on the Uttarakhand-Nepal border as well, because it is clear that Amrit Pal Singh has not fled towards the Pakistan border. He has went deeper inside India, and now Amrit Pal Singh would likely try to cross the India-Nepal border, which is actually very, very porous, and it is easy for him to cross that border. So yes, SSB has been alerted. In fact, big posters of Amrit Pal Singh has been posted on all these borders, just to make sure that any person who actually recognizes a person looking like his his information should be given to the police, so that the police can act on it and actually go ahead and arrest him. But yes, the million-dollar question still remains: where is Amrit Pal Singh? And the Punjab police at this point in time does not have any clue whatsoever as to where or in which state is Amrit Pal Singh today.
Anshul, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for reporting on ground in Jalandhar. Let me bring in my guest, Smitha Prakash, editor of ANI, Shashikant, former the DGP of Punjab. We also have Professor Akashdeep Muni, who is a political analyst, and Ashok Sajanhar, former diplomat. I'm going to begin with you, Smitha Prakash. We are seeing a nexus at play here, stretching across the Western world. Why is the West oblivious to this real security threat?
Well, I think basically we have, it's also been India's fault, though nobody wants to admit that. The thing is that India had taken its eyes off the ball. We should have been pushing this narrative and correcting the wrong narrative which was coming out from the Khalistani quarters. It's not as if the Sikhs for Justice has suddenly come up, or Amrit Pal Singh has suddenly come up. This has been going on for more than a year, 2 years in fact. So I don't think that India reacted. Now this is now pani jab sir se upar nikal gaya, then that's what is happening. And those who are now being interrogated, like your reporter just put out, they're obviously singing. They're coming out with all the details now, and it's quite frightening, some of the details which have come out, that he wasn't just a preacher who was trying to bring about some change in Punjab. He was running some kind of a drug and terror nexus, and the people whom he was recruiting were from his supposed drug rehab center. Another report which has come out just a couple of hours ago says that he had started bringing in some former disgruntled servicemen to train people in militancy. Now this is frightening, because it's been a tried and tested tactic of the Khalistanis. Some of us may remember that General Shah Beg was the right-hand man of Bhindranwale. General Shah Beg was the 1971 war hero. He was cashiered for some reason or the other in 1971. That's a whole story. But he was the one who was next to Bhindranwale in the Golden Temple. And when our forces went in, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time, just to put it in perspective. When our forces went in 1984, he had fortified the Golden Temple to such an extent that our forces were shocked to see what had happened. And then the firing that came in from there on our forces, hundreds of our people died. How did they die? They were firing from under the ground. They were firing from eye level. They were firing from top. This was all General Shah Beg's doing, and he had collected several like-minded, disgruntled ex-servicemen. And there are disgruntled ex-servicemen, right? Right now, what he was trying to do was people who had been sent away on leave or cashiered because of bad behavior in the forge. He was trying to recruit those people, is what the reports which are coming in now. Terrifying situation.
And Mr. Shashikant, are we seeing a sleeper Khalistani nexus at play in Punjab, which has allowed Amrit Pal to evade the law?
Certainly, yes. That's what it appears. Unfortunately, Punjab has had sleeper cells right from 80s. And it's not only in Punjab. Like this guy was, he had stayed overnight at Shahbag, and then in parts of Karnal also. Staying Askan, then further on to Delhi. These guys are there. There's a suspicion of the intelligence agency that these guys are there also. Now, what emerges, I think, is the total failure. Number one, as we're talking to Smitha Prakash on our diplomatic front because we couldn't really keep the foreign powers informed. Secondly, on part of our intelligence agencies who couldn't see what exactly this guy was, what exactly he was doing, that he was not really a religious preacher. And third, the intelligence and police agencies for ages, for tens of years, decades now, have not been able to locate and neutralize the sleeper cells. So I say it's a failure all around on part of various agencies. Thank you.
And Professor Akashdeep, do you see the soft approach to these radicals in the West as part of a silent strategy, would you say, to counter India as India's global clout in fact rises?
You know, Marya, I somewhat agree with you on this point because after this particular manhunt of Amrit Pal, we saw what type of media reports that came from the West. And they were hashtag run in support of a Khalistani terrorist, Amrit Pal. We all know what he was doing. He was collecting arms on ammunition. He had contacts with the ISI in Pakistan. And these are all documented proofs. And when the police went after him, and it's the way in which the West has been supporting, and specifically on online media, if we see the support he's getting from overseas like Canada, Australia, and even from Europe, is outstanding. You know, he should have been. There is an utter need to bring these people to book. There is another reason also. You know, Marya, do you remember the Gurdaspur attack of 2015? And after that, in 2016 and 17, how RSS and BJP workers were killed in point blank in Ludhiana, in Jalandhar, etc. These are the proofs that terrorism has not nipped in the bud. And, you know, because of political affiliations, some political parties really supported terrorism and said about these gangsters, these terrorists support them, so they supported them politically. Now is the time that the central and the state government have come together. I even say that this operation could have been done in a better manner, but still now there is utter need to nip Khalistani terrorism in the bud in Punjab.
The point here is of what clearly was a recent phenomenon. Before I bring in Ashok Sajjanar, I want to understand from you, Mr. Shashikant, Amrit Pal's rise is a recent phenomenon. What really explains the support he was able to rally in such a short time and pose a security challenge to the state and to the entire country?
It's writing on the wall. He was a mole. He was very carefully planted. First, he was indoctrinated there. Then funds came to him. Then the sleeper cell of such activists who had been lying low in Punjab and Haryana and parts of Delhi and other places, they were activated. It was a very well laid out plan, it appears, on part of the ISI, or maybe a section of diaspora also. I'll say that they are also partly responsible for whatever has happened. A very well laid out plan, unfortunately. And again, I say unfortunately, our security forces, intelligence agencies couldn't really see through. It's really sad. Thank you.
Ashok Sajjanar, you know, are you seeing that this could impact bilateral ties? Because India has sent the message by easing security at the British High Commission in Delhi, but the threat to expats and diplomatic staff, in fact, continues.
No, this definitely does have the potential of going that way, but I would very sincerely hope that the very strong message, Marya, that has been sent out by Delhi, you know, not only not in terms of removing the barricades and security from outside the British High Commission and the High Commissioner's residence. I think that is just symbolism. In any case, you don't see any, you know, security threat to the British High Commission. Have we ever seen any demonstrations outside the High Commissioner's residence or whatever? So I think that was just basically a show of strength that was put there. So I think in reality, in substantive terms, I don't think it's going to make any difference. But the message, Marya, that has gone from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that it is unacceptable to, in terms of the indifference, you know, I mean, these are very strong words that have been used by the ministry. The indifference with which the UK authorities have been taking the security of the Indian personnel, the Indian High Commission, the property, territory, etc., that is unacceptable. So I think that is really what has made them wake up. I think the similar sort of message, Marya, needs to go out to Canada, to US, to Australia, to New Zealand, wherever these coordinated demonstrations and violent protests have surfaced. You know, what I would like to say is that maybe in hindsight, 2020 hindsight, it's easy to say that this has been a failure of this and that and the other. But we need to realize that in all these contexts, it is always that the urgent takes precedence over the important. So, you know, you're moving from crisis, one crisis to the other, domestic, foreign, etc. But we really need to take a holistic, approach to all these issues.
Okay.
And
I have
now
just
that the
enough
matter has
time
come
for
out,
the
I
final
don't
word
think
to
we
the
should-
woman on the panel, Smitha Prakash. Smitha Prakash, we have seen these separatists vandalize temples, brandishing weapons and swords and target diplomatic staff. Are they sitting on a ticking time bomb?
Externally, no. I don't think so. I think externally what needs to be done is what Ambassador Sajjanhar said, which is strong words by the MEA, which is exceptional, and it should be done only at times, and they've done that right now. What I was referring to is that it should have been done in a sustained manner, narrative building. This is a rap on the knuckles by the MEA towards their counterparts sitting in the offices in those countries. So those are two different things. Yes, they're happening. That having been said, I think India has to set its house in order first, simultaneously, maybe not first and second. MEA does its thing, set its house in order. It's for the past 4 to 5 years, when he was Chief Minister, Amrinder Singh was raising the issue of drugs being pushed by the ISI. Before that, also Sukhbir Badal and Prakash Singh Badal had been saying that for almost 10 years, the ISI was sending drugs, and India being a frontier state, it was making a generation of Punjabi youth drug dependent. This was part of Pakistan's asymmetrical war on India. And I think India, I don't know whether to say that it lost the plot or it did not take it seriously enough, but I think now is the time that it has to take this seriously.
All right, Smitha Prakash, thank you so much for your time. Shashikant, Professor Akashdeep and Ashok Sajjanhar, really appreciate your time. Some piece of breaking news coming in now. And top government sources are telling CNN News 18, this has to do with sending Amrit Pal's associates to Dibrugarh. Sources say they would have indulged in a jailbreak had they been put in a jail in Punjab and would have radicalized other jailed criminals. They would have created law and order situation and would have run their criminal activities from within the jail in Punjab. Arunima is joining me on the phone line. This is a clear no confidence on Punjab police, Arunima.
You know, this was an apprehension that was expressed. Just to give you a background, when Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann came and met Home Minister Amit Shah, this was discussed, and there were follow-up meetings between the Union Home Ministry officials and officials of the state. And at that point, intelligence was shared about Amrit Pal and how deep his associates were trying to embed the separatist sentiment. And at the same time, how the gangster network in Punjab was willing to, quote-unquote, offer its services to anybody who was paying. So this was flagged off as a dangerous combination, and it was suggested that the best way to thwart any such design is to send, if arrested, Amrit Pal and his associates outside of Punjab. So I think that is what the state police also agreed with, and there was some kind of a cooperation, we are told, between the state and the centre in this regard. And after the custody was taken, they were sent to Dibrugarh. You just read out the reasons as to why they thought this was the best course of action, because the apprehension was that they would have indulged in jailbreak. They could have utilized this gangster network to continue to run riot throughout Punjab, even if they were in custody, and they would have posed a problem as far as law and order is concerned. So in one way, yes, this is a vote of no confidence for the prison authorities. But we have seen this kind of, act happening in prisons, especially in Punjab, in the gangster case. Also in Tihar also. We've seen, in high security Tihar jail also, how gangsters continue to operate, even though if their phones are seized, it's banned for them to use any kind of phone conversation.
All right, Arunima, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. You're putting on all the details on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
is a bailable offence where bail is priced at 15,000 rupees. Many reactions coming in. Union Law Minister Kiren Rijiju has already responded, saying that whatever Rahul Gandhi says, it only causes trouble for him. Let's listen in to what the Union Minister had to say.
राहुल गांधी जो भी बोलते हैं वो आजकल ऐसा हो गया कि उससे सिर्फ नुकसान ही होता है। उनका पार्टी के लिए नुकसान होता ही होता है, लेकिन सबके लिए, देश के लिए भी अच्छा नहीं है। कांग्रेस के ही कुछ एमपी और कांग्रेस के कुछ नेता मुझे बताया, आज भी बताया, कि राहुल गांधी का जो रवैया है उसके वजह से सब खराब हो गया। उनके पार्टी भी डूब रहा है और साथ साथ में पार्टी को भी नुकसान हो रहा है।
See, I feel it's very sorry state of affairs. In fact, I do not want to criticize the verdict of the court because we always honor the court. But that too belongs to Surat. That also is another part of it. But somehow, don't you feel that in democracy, everyone has a right to criticize? And, in democracy, one sentence is very much important, is that to agree to disagreement is the democracy.
जब पूरे समाज ने इकट्ठा होके जब ये तय कर लिया है तो ये पता चल गया। आज देखिए यहाँ पे जो हंगामा, हम क्वेश्चन आंसर चलाना चाहते थे, वो मांग कर रहे थे कि राहुल गांधी को बोलने दिया जाए। अगर अभी बोल देते कि हाँ बोलने दे, तो वो तो हाजिर ही नहीं थे। तो जो हंगामा खड़ा किया था, जो नियम के तहत उनको जो डिमांड करनी चाहिए, कहाँ पे भी जाके कुछ भी बोलना, और सूरत के साथ साथ में पूरी कम्युनिटी जो है ओबीसी समाज में जिसका गढ़ माना जाता है, ऐसे सूरत में जो उनका केस हुआ है और कोर्ट ने अब तय कर लिया है, तो उनकी सजा तो उनको होगी।
राहुल गांधी जी जिस तरह से पूरे समाज को या किसी के बारे में जिस तरह से कुछ ना कुछ बोल देते हैं, उनका अपने आप पे कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है। उन्हें पता नहीं चलता है कि क्या बोलना चाहिए, क्या नहीं बोलना चाहिए। उन्होंने पूरे समाज को बदनाम करने का जो एक निवेदन किया था, उसकी वजह से नाराज होकर गुजरात के पूर्व कैबिनेट मंत्री और अभी एमएलए श्री पुर्णेश मोदी ने कोर्ट में केस किया था और कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया है और इस जजमेंट में उन्हें कन्विक्ट किया है। मुझे लगता है कि इसके बाद भी अगर उनमें कुछ सुधार हो तो अच्छी बात होगी। देश के लिए भी, देश का भी बार बार वो अपमान कर चुके हैं। देश के लोग भी इसकी वजह से उनके ऊपर खफा है, उसका खामियाना उनको भुगतना पड़ेगा।
देखिए, 13 अप्रैल 2019 लोकसभा के चुनाव के दरमियान कर्नाटक स्टेट में बेंगलुरु से 100 किलोमीटर दूर कोलार में कांग्रेस के तत्कालीन प्रमुख श्रीमान राहुल गांधी द्वारा जो सभा आयोजित की गई, उनमें उनका भाषण था, सभी चोरों का उपनाम मोदी क्यों, और भी ढूंढो कितने मोदी निकलेंगे। इस अनुसंधान में यहां सूरत की कोर्ट में फरियाद की गई। आज उनका जो फैसला आया है, मैं उस फैसला का स्वागत करता हूं।
क्या कुछ कहा कोर्ट में, क्या कुछ कहा गया? राहुल गांधी आप भी अंदर थे, जज ने क्या कहा? राहुल,
देखिए, ये कोर्ट का न्यायिक प्रक्रिया है, जो भी फैसला है उनका मैं स्वागत करता हूं।
और देश के लोकतंत्र को जिस तरीके से कलंकित करने का काम किया है, तो उससे तो उन्हें काफी बड़ी सजा के वो हकदार हैं। और मैं समझता हूँ न्यायिक प्रक्रिया में धीरे धीरे वो सारी चीजें सामने आएंगी, क्योंकि जिन लोगों का संसदीय लोकतंत्र में आस्था नहीं है, जो देश की को बढ़ते हुए नहीं देखना चाहते, आज दुनिया जो है, दुनिया में भारत का जो सम्मान बढ़ा, ये उनको डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है। तो ऐसे लोग तो निश्चित रूप से सजा के पात्र हैं। और जो न्यायालय का निर्णय आया, मैं उसको स्वागत करता हूं।
Let's also now bring in our colleagues, our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar joining us on the broadcast, our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh also joining us on the broadcast. Ananya, coming to you first, give better context to our viewers. Who was the petitioner as far as this case is concerned? I believe this case dates back to the 2019, and also talk to us about the sentencing that has come from the Surat court.
Well, definitely, the petitioner was a BJP leader from Gujarat itself who had actually, in fact, filed a criminal defamation complaint under Section 499 and 500 of the Indian Penal Code against Mr. Rahul Gandhi over his certain of his statements wherein he had referred to the whole Modi community as someone being, chores, and in fact had said that they are all somebody who
entire world agrees that we do need to end this conflict. But are we in store for virtually an endless war? Because neither side would want to give up any territorial claims.
Where is our diaspora and how are such radicals able to raise funds in Western nations when it is a fact that such funds are used for anti-India operations?
Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Parliament has broken all records of productivity. But this time around we see there is a standoff.
Gypsy Baral just is just a defense. He should stand up and say that I apologize, I made a mistake.
Yes, removing security outside the High Commission is fair enough, but it's not like the protests have stopped, and it's not like the British authorities are trying to stop these protests.
Pallavi, I'll just request both of you to stay on with us. Some other developments also coming in. The Congress also realizing that there has been a big setback, so they're looking at other legal options. We're now understanding the Congress will in fact approach the top court. They'll approach the Supreme Court to try and get a suspension of the verdict that has come in from the Surat court. Arunama is joining us on the broadcast. Arunama, many would say this was an expected lines. We are understanding a 2-year jail term has been announced. For that, they will have to approach the Sessions Court. But what are you hearing as far as them getting a legal team to now approach the top court?
All the top legal minds of the Congress party, most of whom are also members of parliament, are getting together to formulate their legal strategy. But as of this moment, two things are being made very clear. One, that, this 2 years sentencing makes the sword of disqualification hang on Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and therefore there has to be a legal remedy for that. Appealing in a higher court is the immediate remedy that the Congress leaders are suggesting. They're also pointing out that Rahul Gandhi could well be on his way to Delhi, and once he reaches here, perhaps the process of filing the appeal in a higher court will get underway. They're also pointing out that, in this case, because it's not a case of moral turpitude, which means it's not a case of under Prevention of Corruption Act, the lower court there doesn't really have the power to put the sentence in abeyance or suspend the sentence. That's what the lawyers from the Congress party are pointing out. And therefore, they will have to go to a higher court and they will have to seek that remedy from the higher court of suspending the sentence pending their appeal. Till the time that order comes from the court where the sentence is suspended, the sword of disqualification will continue to hang on Rahul Gandhi, is what we are understanding after speaking to the lawyers here.
Okay, Arunama, we'll request you to stay on with us. Let's bring Pallavi also in the conversation. Pallavi, taking on from what Arunama was saying, politically speaking, what does this mean for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress? Till that 30-day period is on, will he have to suspend, will he have to resign or step down as an MP?
Well, a lot depends on whether his sentencing has been stayed or not, and that's exactly what top Congress sources are telling me, is that this is what they are working upon. The first step they really want to take is that his sentencing must be stayed or suspended for the time being, which means he can carry on as a member of parliament. Politically speaking, well, this has very, very grave, grave consequences. It works both the ways. Of course, it's going to be used politically by the BJP to make a point that, look, not us, but even the courts think that you keep on maligning the image of the Prime Minister, and this is something which is unacceptable, something which is wrong.
There has been a big setback for Congress and Congress's MP Rahul Gandhi because he's been declared guilty by a Surat court in connection with a 2019 remark on the Modi surname. Rahul Gandhi as of now has been sentenced to 2 years in jail.
Namaste and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin with the story that has become the big political story of the day, given what was the verdict of the Surat court in a case that's been running since 2019, a criminal defamation case against the Congress MP from Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi, for his utterances during a election rally in 2019 in Karnataka in Kolar. He's been